One of an assassin's greatest assets is knowing how to wall run, whether it's horizontal or straight up a vertical wall. Today, I'm going to teach you how to do a vertical wall run so you can overcome different sized walls and buildings. There are a lot of variations when it comes to doing wall runs, whether it's which way you're going, the type of grip you have on the wall, the shoes you're wearing, what the weather is like. There's so many different things, so I'm going to cover the basics you need to know to learn your basic wall running, and then the rest of it you can figure out on your own as you go out training and experiment with different types of walls, because every wall is different everywhere you go. So the first thing you want to do is to experiment with how grippy the wall is with your shoes, because every shoe is going to be different on different types of walls. A big part of doing the wall run is knowing what angle to hit the wall run at as you run up to it. The more momentum you have, the more strength you're going to need in your leg to be able to transfer that energy into the wall going up. So that's the whole idea, is that you're transferring your momentum into a bounce, sending yourself upwards. When you're first learning, you actually don't even need to be able to touch the top. All you need is a wall, so you can get the practice of just seeing how high you can go off the wall. And so that's going to be the takeoff. When doing the takeoff, you want to make sure your leg is hitting the wall at the right angle. The more speed you have, the higher on the wall you want your foot to be, because it'll allow your momentum to transfer into upward momentum. If you have too much speed and your foot is too low on the wall, usually what ends up happening is your foot will slip down and your body will slam into the wall. So that's why it's important to get familiar with how much momentum you need to stop yourself enough to send that momentum upwards without your shoe slipping. Make sure that when you do the wall run, that depending on the amount of speed you have, you don't want to take off too close to the wall, because then you have the risk of banging your knee or hitting the wall because you have too much momentum. But you also don't want to jump too far away, because then you're losing that momentum and it's going to be a lot harder to get up. You can also push your hand against the wall as you're going up to help stabilize your motion and everything you're doing. When you start doing really high wall runs, you want to be prepared for the fall, because eventually you'll start getting up there. If you're not ready for the fall and you're falling backwards, it can kind of hurt if you miss your foot placement. So every time you do the wall run, you always want to be ready to drop and do the fall, or push away, land and roll. That's one reason why it's good to learn the roll before everything else, because it will help protect you in a lot of different instances. So now we've learned the basic technique to running up the wall. Now the tricky part is climbing up. This can have a lot to do with strength and technique. So I'm going to use this lower wall to help practice the actual climb up. When learning to climb up on a wall, you want to, as you're pulling up, be able to pull your chest up onto the wall and then push up from there. So it's two motions, the pull up and the push up. So as I demonstrate here, I'm from a hang. Also, be sure to check out my dad's tutorial on muscle ups. Those can be a great way to improve your strength when doing climb ups. Implement your wall run to make the climb up more easy on a low wall to help you get the feel of what the climb up feels like. The wall run is one of my favorite moves to do, because the feeling of just being able to fly up a wall and then climb up and over it beats anything else. So train hard, be safe, and don't forget to have fun.